Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Influence, a social media podcast with Abby Jean and Nate. Over the last couple of years, the world has evolved from going shopping in the store to ordering everything online. Social media not only became a place to shop, date, explore, and advertise, it became a place where we are captivated by a salmon rice recipe, and we are all basing our day around whether or not a 13-year-old pug woke up with bones or no bones.
But do you ever wonder how regular people who live regular lives shoot to internet fame overnight? How a trending song turns into thousands or even millions of followers? Do their lives really change? And if so, how? Let's talk about the shift from a 9 a.m. meeting to please like, share, and comment. We're diving into the world of social media with your favorite influencers. This is The Influence, a social media podcast. Welcome back to The Influence, a social media podcast. My name is Nate. This is Abby Jean.
Hey,
Hi.
Nate. I'm Abby Jean.
How are
ya?
you?
I'm good. How are you? It's the holiday season.
We are all inclusive on our holiday celebrations here.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Hey, I was checking our iTunes page and we have all 5-star reviews, and
so cool.
it's just super exciting to hear some positive feedback and people that are, relating to what we're saying and enjoying hearing from their favorite influencers. So
We've been waiting so long.
I know.
So long that we released it early because
Right.
we were so
it was
excited.
like a secret for a while, and then we were like
Yeah.
teasing for so long, and I was like, please, can we just
Can
go?
we go for it?
Can we go?
I know.
I wanted to kind of get in the holiday spirit a little bit today for our drafts. Do you have a favorite holiday memory you want to talk about?
I do. So many people know that I have two older brothers. So the holiday season was like really exciting. And my oldest brother is 7 years older than me. My middle brother, like two years older than me. And I think this was like around the time where I was pretty small, but my mom had told one of my brothers that I was in fact getting the mermaid Barbie that I had so wanted, the one with like the long red hair.
Yes.
And I was so excited because I couldn't wait to brush her hair. And so the night before Christmas, my brother came into my room and he was like, Santa is bringing you mermaid Barbie. And I was like, what? How do you know this? How do you know this information? And he was like, I just know it's under the tree. And I got like so excited. And I was like, how do I let Santa know that I'm so excited? And he was like, oh, well, the proper way to say that you're so excited is holy shit. Holy shit, I'm so excited. And I was like, yeah. And like we
Good
didn't use
idea.
like when I don't remember my parents ever being like, those are bad words. Like we just didn't have bad words and we didn't know about bad words. So I just thought that was a word I'd never heard. So Christmas morning comes, I'm so excited. I'm looking for packages that are like the Barbie shaped box, and finally the moment happens and I rip open the box and I pull her out and I go, holy shit, I'm so excited. And my mom just looks over at her beautiful, angelic, blonde little baby and was like, what did you just say? And my brother was like, Merry Christmas.
Oh my God.
Where did you hear that word? And I like looked at my brother, and I'm sure he had told me like, don't tell Santa that I told you this because then like the magic will go away. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I just know, Mom. I just know that's how. And she was like, absolutely not. We do not speak like that. Brothers, am I right?
Am I right? It's so funny. Like it seems to be a reoccurring theme with your lovely older brothers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, too funny.
What about you? What's a good Christmas memory that you have?
I would estimate that I was probably 8. So that it's like height of Christmas joy for kids.
Yeah.
Like my sister and I both had bedrooms upstairs, and that's all that was upstairs were our bedrooms. So we would like race down the stairs in the
Yeah.
morning. And this was, so I was born in 82. So this was probably like 89 or 90. And it was when the original Nintendo came out.
Ooh.
And it wasn't even wrapped. It was already like hooked up to the TV, controllers like plugged in and pulled out, like ready just to start going at the Super Mario Brothers. So
Yeah.
like we get to play a couple games first while we're eating breakfast, and then like open the rest of our presents. And the
Yeah.
last present that I opened was this enormous like helmet. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I got a helmet, but it wasn't like a bicycle helmet. And I knew that. And I'm like, what's going on here? So my dad takes me on the back porch and he hits like the garage door opener, and there is a four-wheeler in the
Shut up.
garage. Yes. And it had snowed. So it was like a white Christmas. There was a couple inches of snow on the ground. So my dad hooks up a sled to the four-wheeler and like pulls my sister and I around the yard, like sledding in the fresh snow for like the rest of the
That's like
day. Yeah, I
magical.
know. It was
Wow.
the
Oh my
best. Yeah,
gosh. And
so
I'm
funny.
screaming, holy shit.
Yeah.
That is like a magical Christmas.
It was good. And then the next year, my parents got divorced, and I never had a good Christmas again.
Oh, that's what happens. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Just kidding. But look back, of course, still fondly.
I remember like very vividly just the holiday season. Like my parents made it so magical. It's actually funny slash very embarrassing. I believed in Santa until I was probably like 15.
Okay.
And it's so funny because there were so many times along the way where like I almost and they would just lie.
They
Like my
just stuck
parents
to
let
it.
yes, my parents would they would put out like we would put out reindeer food outside, and then they would put us in bed, and my dad worked for a radio station, and so on the radio station they would do like the weather and they would track Santa.
Yeah.
So then we would listen to the radio and they were like, we saw him over in New Jersey, he's heading up to, wherever, and we would be in our beds, and then they would go outside and they would throw heavy stuff up onto the roof, and they would be like,
Committed.
he's here, we all have to go to sleep. And I remember being like in my bed and I could hear footprints.
Yeah.
And I was like, Santa's here. And then they would like take bites out of the carrots and leave them outside to look like the reindeers had nibbled on the things. And it was like just this, and we had 6 Christmas trees every year. We'd put them on the front porch and in here and in there. So it was always just like really magical.
Yeah.
But I remember like I think I was like 10 and I was at my best friend Alyssa's house, and they had this weird like inlet thing in their basement, and her parents would say like, you can go play downstairs but don't go like in that area. And we were like, yeah, of course we did.
Yeah.
And I found presents that said, to Alyssa from Santa.
No.
And I remember like tears welling up in my eyes, and I like called my mom and I was like, I would like to go home.
Devastation.
And I got in the car and I was like, Mom, I saw presents at Alyssa's house and they were addressed to her from Santa. And my mom looked at me and she was like, no, they are from Santa. They have that special room in their house to store presents for Santa.
Okay, Mom.
And I was
quick
like,
on
that
that.
actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You're totally right. And then I remember one year I was like a really old age. It was crazy. And my brothers were just going along with it too. They would like, my brother was like,
surprising based on their history of
I
ruining
know.
things for you.
Yeah. And so like, I remember one year I was like, okay, I'm going to write a note to Santa and I'm going to hide it, because if Santa is magic, he'll be able to find my letter.
Yep.
Duh. And I hid the letter, like buried it into the Christmas tree. And I remember waking up and it was still there and it was sealed. And I was like,
so that was the confirmation that you needed.
That was, yeah. And I was like in puberty. Like it's so embarrassing.
Right. Oh gosh.
But yeah, I love the holidays.
Me too. It's just that
your mom gets like 3 million points for that one day though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool for sure. Well, maybe we should ask Meredith that today.
I
think her kids are like span an age range. So
Yeah.
today we are chatting with Meredith Steele You probably
Meredith
know her as
Steele.
Babies of Steel on TikTok.
I'm so excited. I'm excited to hear about how she kind of got into TikTok, but I'm also so impressed with the fact that she kept her TikTok for herself.
Yes,
I think that's so awesome.
right. And no offense to other moms who love to show their cute babies and
No,
whatnot,
of
but
course.
it was going to be her thing and showcase
And I
her
love
life
that.
and her humor. It can be hard because kids are doing cute, funny things all day long, and that would be easy
Yeah.
content. But then she still delivers the funny and
Yeah.
the emotional and the cute and all of the things just based on her own experience and her own content.
And she's just like so lovable and funny and silly. And then, she's really open and honest about her mental health, which I think is amazing.
Yes.
But I just think it's so lovely that it's just, it's her thing. I
Yeah.
really admire that about Meredith. And she's got all the TikTok besties.
I was just going to say she's a part of like
the ultimate gals group.
the ultimate TikTok gals group. They
Yeah.
like travel to New York City together. Some
Oh,
of the biggest
it's
female creators, all of which you'd probably recognize. So we definitely have to talk to her about that.
I know. I'm like, how do you become TikTok besties?
Right. She also has something that you and I both want. Do you know what it is?
Oh, a Dunkin' Donuts contract.
Yes. A brand deal
Yeah.
with Dunkin'.
With Dunkin' Donuts.
Is that the ultimate or what?
Yes, period.
Yes, period. Thank you.
I don't need anything else.
No. We're going to have to.
Baby.
I'm going to need the contact information for that person.
I know. I also want to ask her about being verified because I have no idea how that works.
Yes. Good call. Yeah. What's the process?
Does it just show up one day?
Right.
Because you were telling me that you have to like prove stuff.
I know that you submit like things, but I don't know exactly what they look for. I think there's got to be some like, I don't know, maybe national press or something, but we'll definitely ask her about that.
I know. And then one day it just shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, because you see these like reaction videos, like when it just happens. People are like, ah.
Let's take a peek behind the upload with Meredith Steele.
Babies of Steel.
Let's kick it.
Let's kick it.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We're super excited today to talk to Meredith Steele.
Babies of Steel.
Babies of Steel.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the Influence.
So excited. Thanks for making time. It's the holiday season. I love your little setup there.
My Christmas tree in the middle of the living room.
I
in the middle of my office.
One day you were a regular mom, and now you're sitting upwards of 800,000 followers almost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy, and the journey is a wild ride. So we kind of wanted to peek behind the upload and chat with you about your growth rate and some of the behind the scenes. So start where you want to start and kind of give us a little timeline of what happened from the first time that you ever uploaded.
Ooh, this is it's a little bit of a roller coaster. I had a friend of mine suggest during the pandemic that I use TikTok because she was like, it's so mindless and kind of like stupid in a loving way. Like we were all sort of collectively losing our minds at home. And she's like, you should go on TikTok. Like it's where your people are. I was like, sure, whatever. So I'll consume some content. And I made like, random trend videos here and there. And then one day I made, not this past summer, the summer before, I made a video about how it's really fun to mow your lawn. And how our husbands have been lying to us and like acting like it's such a burden, but I go outside and I destroy the lawn and I have a cocktail and I listen to music and it's so much fun.
Is this a riding mower or a push mower?
Yes, it was a ride-on mower.
All right.
It's like adult go-karts,
but
with cocktails and like you could do whatever you want, right? So I made this video and just put it up, and it was really just like my sort of musings. My kids, I made it in a parking lot while my kids were at the playground. And I just like threw it up, right? I posted it to TikTok and it got like 4 million views overnight.
My God.
And
oh man,
I had like literally probably had 300 followers at that point. And I went from like no followers and just sort of making it for fun to like 50,000 followers who are like, I really like your personality and I would like to see more. And I was like, oh no, like,
Yeah.
what have I done?
Yeah.
And so I just started talking about like whatever I was doing that day or whatever was going on in my life. And people were really receptive to it. And I feel like if you go back, well, I deleted a lot of my Instagrams from before then, but like my personal Instagram was very much like curated, like how I thought people wanted me to exist on the internet.
Yeah.
And then I was on TikTok and I was like super loud, like I am, and a little bit weird. And people were really nice.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like I can do this again. And maybe, and the more I did it, the more people were like, oh, like I'm a little loud and I'm a little weird. And it emboldened me probably to a point that sometimes I would come at content and I'm like, stop, stop enabling me. But it's sort of, and people will be like, you know, do you plan your content? I just sort of talk about whatever's going on in my head as like a verbal processing. And here we are, like coming up on 1 million people across platform, which is really strange to me.
I love that you brought that up because that's my favorite difference between TikTok and other platforms is we see this filtered, curated life of, you know, these edited images and videos on other platforms. And TikTok is really just it's like the raw footage, you know, the unedited behind the scenes stuff. And I think that's why you can pull in your people and create a following on TikTok that then perhaps transfers to other platforms. But I think that's my favorite thing about TikTok.
And it's weird because I also started like, you know, peak pandemic when people are like making bread and doing crafts with their kids and like learning to sew. And I was like super depressed and miserable. And I would log online and be like, am I the only person that's losing their mind right now? And so I learned I hated Instagram, right? Because everyone was like so curated and perfect. And I think that has its value and its time and its place, but it was not good for me. So TikTok is a mess and I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the sloppy ant, the drunk ant at Thanksgiving.
That is 100% me too.
And I love that you kind of like went back. So you went and you deleted some of your old Instagrams. Is that right?
For sure. Yeah. That was more when I started to realize that my internet existence was more of a persona about what I thought that people wanted, and it wasn't me. And the reason it never went anywhere was because it wasn't genuine and it wasn't authentic. And so I deleted it. And there was a weird period of my time when I was like heavily indoctrinated by the church and also like MLMs. So I went back and was like, oh no, like this needs to be hidden forever from Earth.
Earth.
Make it go away.
Gosh.
Yeah. The dark ages, those are gone now.
Oh, wow.
What's the feeling when you wake up to 4 million views?
Right.
Who do you call? What do you do? Or is it like, tell me about that.
Cry. It was also the first time I'd ever gotten hate. So it was a crash course really rapidly of learning, one, that a lot of men on the internet are very angry. So learning that my lane is definitely women.
Gays and the girls and the gays.
The girls and the gays.
The girls and the gays.
But learning, it was cool. It was exciting. My husband was a little alarmed because we had gone out like the next week and this one was like, I saw your video online. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
But I didn't call anyone.
There wasn't like mass email, nothing crazy.
No, it was like I'm in my 30s and I went viral on TikTok.
I know.
No.
And I think it's one of those things too that so many people want that so badly. They really do, and they post in the intent of it going viral like that. But until you're in the thick of it and you're reading those things that are literally directed towards you, you're like, what has happened? What is as your platform evolved and your growth continued, how do you combat the hate, or do you ignore it, or how do you deal with it on your page?
I am the worst person to ask this to because I cry all the time. I let it hurt my feelings. And I mean, there are tools in place like comment filters and
Yeah.
the block button, which is my best friend. But I feel like there's this like sort of weird belief that people have about content creators. So they're like, you know, you put yourself out there, you should expect to receive it. And you do, but like sometimes the volume it gets to is a little much. I do hate my phone a little more than I used to. So there will be times that I'll put up a video and I'll turn my phone off for 12 hours or I'll leave it somewhere and go somewhere with my family. But one thing about going viral that a lot of people like, they want to go viral, right? Like that's the goal, like you said, but going viral takes you out of your lane. And so like quote, low view videos are for my followers. Like those are for the people that log in and watch my content and know me and know who I am. And so sometimes I make content and I would rather it not go viral, right? Like, cause that's not what it's for. Cause then it ends up inevitably someplace scary. And then I don't want to make any videos. And then it defeats the purpose of making the videos. So I know there are a lot of creators that delete videos with lower views. And those to me are my favorite videos because those are the people whose usernames I know, whose pages I know, who like have engaged for a long time. And I like that better than when sometimes my videos go to scary places.
You bring in the riffraff when it goes to the For You page and it's
Yes. But it's really interesting to see how people portray themselves online versus how they are. Like for me, for sure, I definitely have like a TikTok persona, right? Like there's a subset of my personality that is over the top and loud and bubbly and joyful. And I love that, but it's not my whole personality. And I try hard to show all those parts online. And it's very interesting to meet social media people in real life and be like, oh.
So you talked a little about this idea that, you know, we have these creators that we follow and we feel like we know them. Yes. Abby, Jean, and I have not met in real life. And
really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I look at you and Ashley and I see this like perfect friendship. And I want to know about like the first time you met and like the evolution of this friendship.
So we actually just celebrated our 1 year TikTok friend anniversary because it came up on a video of mine from last year that she had commented was like, can we be friends? And so we were both laughing about it. I think we both have this very large personality. And so she and I had messaged back and forth forever. And then she put together a trip in the spring to go to Napa with a bunch of creators. I didn't even know like the last names of the women that I was going with, right? Like Pinky was going. And so I'm packing for this trip and my daughter who's in 5th grade was like, oh, who's going? So I'm like telling her and she's like, well, what's Pinky's real name?
Yeah,
and I was like,
names like Pinky.
Oh, I don't know Pinky's real name. And she's like, you're telling me that you're flying from Maine to California. My 5th grader, mind you, is lecturing me. She's like, you're telling me you're flying from Maine to California to stay in a house, potentially stay in a bed with people you've never met from the internet whose real names you don't know. And I was like, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Not as I do.
And
I
so
feel like
Ashley
that anxiety would be crippling to like walk in awful. The first time. Yeah.
It was terrifying. But Ashley and I feel like had a very organic, and Pinky and I as well had messaged for so long that I was just so excited to meet them.
Yeah.
It was very natural immediately, and Ashley and I just got along. And we have very similar existences. Like she and I have talked at length, like if the internet went away tomorrow, I'd be sad for like 30 seconds and my life would be okay. Like it's not my whole existence. And I admire her work ethic. Like she has a full-time job. She works really, really hard and she's a really good mom. And I just enjoy her. And she's also wildly inappropriate in a way that I don't have the nerve to be online. And also for some reason, every time I say anything inappropriate online, I get banned. So I have to maintain this very squeaky clean image.
And
when
she
I'm really
goes
like,
there. She's
she
my
goes
kind of girl.
all in.
What's up, fuckers?
The fuckers.
And I am a secret sicko, but I can't be that online.
Yeah.
So it can be really freeing to talk about social media with people who are also in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I can say stuff that if I said to someone else would, sometimes I say stuff to my husband. He's like, please don't say that out loud. It sounds ridiculous. And I'm like, but it's real. Like
You
it's
didn't
real for
record
me.
that, did you?
Yes, yeah. So
some of your content is this sort of idea of being honest about your body and trying to empower other women. And there's a Walmart swimsuit haul that you are just very proud, and as you should be. Were you ridden with anxiety? How was that whole process of deciding just to go and in the hopes of, you know, helping other women to maybe feel the same?
Great question. I think for me, that sort of has come with the progression of my existence online. So I always say that the For You pages that I consume are not the For You pages that I'm on. And I think sometimes my For You page, I like to follow, I try really hard to follow people who inspire me or who are like just, I like to follow content that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And people who are brave in their content and post things that are scary. And that makes me feel comfortable. And then I feel like, you know, so I take the little nuggets from them and I bring them home, and then I sit and think about it for a while. And then I think, okay, how could I do that for someone else? Because I know how much it means to me. And I was live the other day and someone asked a group of us who our favorite TikTokers are. And mine is Alicia McCarville. I don't know if you follow her, but I love her. She is hysterical. She is strong. She is brave. And so when I see content like that, and I see her content or lots of women like that, and I'm like, damn, girl, you look good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do I talk to myself like that? And so then I'll be like, okay, you know, I'm going to go bathing suit shopping. And then I put on the bathing suits and I'm like, you're disgusting, you dirty bridge troll. And then I'm like, wait, what would Alicia say to me? Or like, you know what I mean? Like how, and I also have a daughter. And I don't want her For You page to be full of or like people like that. So whose brand is you hating yourself.
Version.
It's totally unrealistic.
Yeah.
And then sort of same thing as my content, like when I talk in the car, is the more I did it, the more people are like, oh, like I have the similar body type to you, or I have the same measurements, and I look at you and I think you look great. And then I look at myself and don't feel that way. So I'm like, okay, maybe like if I could just help one person in the way that other content creators have helped me, I feel like I've done something good. And then I'm like, someone's like, you look good in that bathing suit. I'm like, I can wear it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So TikTok is sometimes therapy for me. Lots of times therapy for me.
It really is. And I think, especially with topics like that, like it's so comforting to not feel alone in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Because like what you said, you can see someone who has the exact same measurements as you and you're like, she looks so pretty and great. And she's glowing. And then in your inside, you're like, I just look like I crawled out from under a bridge. And it's like, what?
Yes.
Why? Right. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of, you know, start that conversation and find your people, it's so lovely to kind of get out of your head and look at it in reality. So I think that's really amazing that you do that.
Thanks. I like it.
That video jumped too.
Yeah. But then again,
wild.
Like, okay, so I'm doing a Walmart bathing suit try on, right? Like maybe for people who are also shopping for bathing suits at Walmart. And men are like, I don't like this video. Sir, this is literally not for you. Go away. And then I'm like, and then I'll make a comment like, hey, listen, this is not for you. And then they're like, you're a man-hating liberal. And I'm like, this is not the point of this video. Like, why are you so angry?
I know.
Yeah, I've been in a wild realm of TikTok lately too. So like your favorite creators just wake up and they make content like hoping to make your day just like this much better. And you're like, I hate your face and your teeth and your grandmother and your socks and your car and your cat. And you're like, I'm just go away.
Yeah. It's like, cause you know, people say like, oh, only hurt people. But you go through times where I'm like, everybody out here not feeling good then.
Yeah.
But it is hard when you have like 3 million views and you have 5,000 comments that are nice and like 3 of them are mean.
Yeah.
And somehow those are the ones that stick. And you're like,
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah, it's super. I try to look at. I got stung by a bee for the first time in my whole entire life as a 31-year-old woman this past summer,
Oh, what?
but it was on my nipple.
Survivor. What?
I know.
This gets
How?
better and better.
I was wearing. I was wearing.
Logistically
tank top.
speaking, how did that
Right,
happen?
logistically
Yeah,
speaking.
no. Literally in my mind. Okay, so I was walking out the front door and we have a hornet's nest, and I had grown
Took
to
your
love the
nipple out.
hornet. And I was like,
Mother is
Stop.
here.
It's time to share my teeth. Just a little suckle on my teeth. I am your mommy. And so I left the hornets alone because I don't mess with the bees. I don't mess with the hornets. I'm happy
No.
to have them. I was really excited because we had gotten a little pool for Bubby. So I ran out the front door and I had disturbed the family. And it was like perfect. Like I saw it and it saw me, and then it was just like zoof, and it just literally stung me so hard directly on my nipple.
Yeah.
Wait, through
Threw
your
me
shirt
down.
or under your shirt?
I was wearing like a really thin tank top.
Okay.
And so I tumbled head over feet down the front of my steps.
Oh.
And then I started like, I was just like drooling. I don't know
This
why.
is
but
really dramatic.
so
Yeah.
much drool. And Honey was upstairs listening to the radio. So like he didn't hear me. He ends up coming outside, like looking over. I'm like covered in dirt and drooling. And he's like, what happened? I was like, I got stung by a bee. And through my tank top, I had like one C boob and then one A boob. And he was like, what is going on? I was like, I think.
You tried to get
Yeah,
the
right?
other one stung.
Yeah,
at the
even it
same
out,
time.
buddy.
So like it was this super tragic moment, and then it was like really just like then it like phased out, and then now we laugh about it. So every time I get a hate comment, I'm like, it's just like that bee sting. It hurts
Yes.
really bad right now, and
Yes.
then over the next couple weeks, it's gonna fizzle out, and then months from now, I'm gonna say how funny that stupid idiot was.
Yes. It's always funny after, but when it happens,
Yes.
man, there are
Oh.
some ones that I'm like, how did you find this way to hurt my feelings in this new and inventive way?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How does your brain work that
10
This-
points for creativity.
yes.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
delete all
Goodbye.
my social media accounts and leave and move to Alaska. Thank you.
Yes. But it's weird because I feel like the ones that bother me the most are from women. And it's always a woman with a child in their profile. And I'm like, that's the one that strikes a nerve because I'm like, you're
Teaching that.
in charge of a little human. And if you're doing this online, I don't want to know what you're doing behind closed doors. It
No,
bums me
it's-
out. I make a lot of mental health TikToks, and it'll be
Yes.
like, I'll be like, today I'm just feeling really depressed and like I just want to die. And then they're like, nail polish color.
Yes.
Oh my god, I
I was
know.
looking for some support here.
Yeah, it's fine. It's funny though, because I'm like, okay, yeah, that's one reason to live. I need to go find out what nail polish
You
color.
gotta call your
this
nail
is.
girl and
Yeah.
figure out what color OPI that is.
Yeah.
Obviously, like as the platform grows, there are people there for all different reasons. There's people there who want to hear mom content. There's people there who want to hear mental health content. They want to see just like your fun, take on things. But as it gets bigger, do you find that you have like a small group that you've kind of been chatting with through the whole time?
Like your
'Cause,
ride or
like-
dies.
Yeah, your ride or
Yeah.
dies.
I do. I have mods. So when I go live, I feel like those people, I have been around a long time and I trust them and they engage with my content. I follow them back. I know who they are. I know what's going on in their lives. And I just think that's such a cool concept. But I also I'm doing a trip with a trip company to Italy.
Yeah.
And the trip filled up with people who have followed me for a really long time. And I don't know why my brain didn't think, oh, these are the people that are going to sign up. But I get to go on vacation with
Yeah.
people from the internet who I've never met, but who I somehow trust from the internet to not stab me in Italy. So
You have Italy and Costa Rica, right?
I do, yeah. But the
Oh.
Italy one's sold out. Costa Rica's, she's the slow burn.
Got
So
it.
we'll see who wants to go to the Central America with me. But that's the sort of stuff that I love that's tangible about social media, like people, humans,
Yeah.
not just views. and stuff.
Connection. Just another way to make human connection.
Yep.
Yeah.
you also get the same vibe when you know that they're good people that you can trust.
Yes. Yep.
Which is so lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So was it
You
like
know.
when the spots were filling up on the trip, were you like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good one. Okay, yeah, I like her.
There are like 2 large creators that signed up too that like I've been mutuals with, and like it was just cool. Like
Yeah.
my husband is constantly having to bring me down to earth, but be like, this is like a physical manifestation of the good that you put out, right? Like these people want to show up and spend time with you in real life, and it's such a strange concept for me to frequently reconcile with, because my day-to-day life is very much the same, right? Like I go to my car, I make a video, I do my day job, I make dinner, right? Like sometimes the internet doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
And
No.
there's a lot of stuff that gets to happen lately that feels really real that I like a lot.
We all deal with the negativity, but when you remove the negativity and really look at what you're left, it really is like some really cool shit.
Yeah.
We know because we've seen your video, but maybe some of our listeners don't know that you've received some not so wonderful gifts to your P.O. box. Can you legally share about it?
Yeah, I can, because I don't know what they sent me. So I got
Oh, really?
I got a notarized letter in my P.O. box last winter that was like, please contact the office of such and such for you have I should have saved it, I swear. People have asked me this question 1,000 times. I don't know what I got. And so I called this number and they were like, your P.O. box got flagged. First I went to the counter, the front desk of the post office with like, I live in a small town. The people at the post office think I have a shopping addiction because I go to the P.O. box and I come out with like 30 packages.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, what does this letter mean? And he's like, well, what did you order? And I was like, oh, I didn't order anything. And he's like, well, then how is something being sent to your P.O. box? Well, so I'm like struggling to how do I say this? Right? And my brain is saying one thing, but my mouth is like, So I'm like, I didn't order anything. And he's like, so why are you getting this letter? Like what's supposed to be coming? I'm like, I actually don't know.
This is kind of great because you're like semi-suspicious when you're asking him about it. And he probably knows what the letter means.
Right. And so I'm being dodgy, but not because I ordered drugs, but because I didn't want to say like fan mail, because that's a weird concept for me.
Yeah.
So he's like, you just need to call this phone number. So I call the phone number and they're like, we have drug dogs and like different scanners, and whatever it was confiscated and destroyed. And it came from Colorado. And so I was like, okay. And so I post a video about it being like, which one of you sent drugs to my P.O. box?
Don't do it again.
And like, I didn't want to be mad because enough people have seen my videos to know that like, they were probably like, this girl needs some weed, like chill. And so
it was probably like gummies or something.
Oh.
Yeah. But so I have no idea what it was, but the best part is that all these people are commenting because it goes viral, right? So it's outside of my normal realm. All these people are like, your local law enforcement agency is going to reach out to you. And I'm literally sitting on the couch with my police officer husband.
Right.
Like, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. The police are coming. And to this day, no one has ever fessed up to sending drugs.
So crazy.
Yeah.
What did your husband say?
It was like, he was literally like, what the hell are you doing there? I was like, I don't know. It could have been a kilo of heroin.
Right.
Who knows?
It literally could have been.
I don't know if that's the measurement for heroin.
I don't either.
Gram?
Gram. I think it's gram.
Could have been some heroin.
Yeah, right. But then it gave me so much anxiety. So then I like started getting stressed about going to my P.O. box. And then I took my P.O. box out of my bio. And then it like sort of at the same time, that was in February. So in April, I got COVID and I was really sick. And people, again, men, picked up my content and made some really nasty content. I debated leaving the internet for good. And I turned off my DMs for 3 months. So no one sent anything to my P.O. box for 4 months. And it was kind of nice. But it is back now. And I have not gone to my P.O. box in like a month because I still get anxious about going every single time.
Yeah. You're like, this could be the day that they handcuff me.
Yeah. My husband has to handcuff me and take me to jail. I also put up a video last week that I thought was funny. Someone commented on it being like, this video comes from a place of privilege, and I don't think you meant it like this, but maybe like a little self-awareness next time. And I appreciated that. And so I engaged in like a friendly discourse in the conversation. I thanked them for the insight. And then the comments took a very hard turn. And so I turned off the comments and I messaged my TikTok friends separately. And I said, and this is where I appreciate them the most. I was like, can you guys watch this video and tell me if I need to take it down?
Yeah.
And they were like, and I sent some of the comments to them and I said, what are your thoughts? And they were like, don't take the video down. It's not insensitive. You're okay. These people are just angry, right?
Yeah.
So then I put the video back up, but I left the comments off because I didn't want people to be nasty to each other. And I had a woman come to another video, which is always a delight. When you turn the video comments off, they'll just go to a different video to leave the comment in another video.
Yes.
And she was like, I have followed you forever. I'm really disappointed in you. And that one, the disappointed,
Yeah.
she found a way in, and I was like, damn it. And so I took the video down because I was like, okay, if this woman has been around for a while, the whole thing just got like way out of proportion.
Yeah.
And then I literally lost sleep over it for like 3 days.
Yeah.
And it was like, my husband's like, Meredith, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it was not a bad video by any means. And I appreciated the insight, which is why I eventually ended up just taking it down. But I was like, I'm a terrible person. Like, I have and I ended up blocking the woman because she was so nasty in the conversation after she told me she was disappointed. I was just like, okay, you're not stressing me out on my own phone. You're gone.
Right.
But it hurt my feelings. And then I'm like, why am I letting this bother me so much? But it does. And I sometimes just need to let myself get my feelings hurt. I do it too often.
I know.
There are so many days where I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw my phone in the river.
You do love the people that have been with you, and you love, making people laugh and all of those things. But I think it's just, people are unaware of what it can kind of do to somebody behind the upload.
Yes. Especially as like a highly sensitive person. Like, if you want to criticize me, like, if anyone here listening is like, I need to send her a critical message. Like, if you could just throw like 65 emojis in it, and then at the end be like, I'm not mad at you. I still like you.
I annoy myself with the amount of emojis that I use. So we will probably be text
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because it's too scary when it's like, I'm on my way, and they write like, okay. I'm like, I should turn around. They don't want me to go.
Oh my God, they're mad at me.
That's exactly how my brain works.
Can't believe I accepted their invite and I'm on the way. They don't want me there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go back home. I'm sorry. I love you. Are you mad at me? You hit me with your car, but it's okay. I'll get it fixed.
Right. One of my real life best friends, I'll text her like every couple of weeks, be like, we still friends? And she's like, yes, Meredith. Okay, great. Very good. Just checking it. Just checking it.
I relate to that so much.
What does your 5th grader think about your TikTok?
My kids are not in any of my content. And before I share anything that they've done that I think might be funny in a video, I talk to them about it. I ask them if they're comfortable with it. And frequently I try to use gender neutral pronouns when I tell stories, so that, because her peers are on the app, and I wouldn't want to
like
tell a story.
10 years old, 11?
Yeah, she's 11. She's about to turn 11, so she's in 5th grade. And sometimes we'll go someplace and a kid will be like, oh my gosh, I follow you. I'm a huge fan of you. And I'm like, first of all, I'm like, what are you doing here? Where are your parents? But because my content is not for 11-year-olds. My daughter went to a sleepover last week. She didn't stay the night, but she was at a party last week, and the girls were talking about TikTok. And one of the girls was like, yeah, Blake's mom is on TikTok. And I was like, oh, like how? And she was telling me the story. I'm like, oh, how did that conversation go for you? How did that make you feel? And she goes, I told them you got a blue check mark. And they all said it was pretty cool. And I was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mom's verified.
I try really hard to be respectful. I also, like, if you ever want to see me get on a soapbox, talk to me about children on social media. But I think that they feel more comfortable and proud of the content because they're not being exploited for it.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's like a separate entity from them, which I think is an interesting realm with mommy bloggers in general. I find them to be very predatory, and I get very upset by it. But I think that they're comfortable with it because they're not being exploited for my views. And because I try to make it, there's some mutual respect there with them, understanding that their peers are consuming it. And I don't want to tell a story about how, like, you know, this child had this excrement issue,
Yeah.
and then have all her
Right.
kids listen to me blast her on social media.
Yeah.
So.
In the same token that you protect their privacy, it's also like a you thing.
Yeah.
Like it's for you.
Yep.
And again, I don't have children, but I think something actually that holds me back from having children is the fear that I will lose myself. And I think that you do such an amazing job of keeping your TikTok for you and your
Thank you.
friend. And I think that's so lovely. It really
I
is.
I made a video about it a couple months ago where it was like, and I think when we get back to how my social media presence was before that, there was a period of time where I thought my only identity was mom, right?
Yeah.
And so being able to exist outside of that has been very liberating, but I also feel like makes other people feel like it's okay that I'm a whole
Yes.
person independent of my children.
Yeah.
I think every mother on the planet could probably relate to that. And I think that you portray it in like such a funny and relatable way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just wanted to real quick talk about getting verified because like I see so many videos
Yeah.
on it. And I think from what I understand, there's a high level that factors into it about press and whether it's print or video. Do you know specifically like what was behind you getting verified? Was it like the
Press.
model?
It was press.
Like,
so over the summer, I did I have done Venmo challenges in the past where I like basically crowdsource tips for people. And I did a tip for a server who was stiff and giving church pamphlets instead of a tip. And like an openly gay server who was given church pamphlets instead of a tip, and twice in one shift. So a friend of mine shared with me about it, and I said no. And I never share the amount that I raised for this person, and I never share their identity out of respect for them because they asked not to. But my followers sent a volume of money in a very short period of time that was extremely significant. And then I made a video saying, hey, we're cutting this off, and anything that comes in after this point, because content keeps moving.
Right.
And I said everything that comes from this point forward is going to be donated to an organization. And then I talked with the server about what organization they felt comfortable with, and it ended up being a camp for teens in Maine for kids who are struggling with gender identity. So through a group called Equality Maine, and that money sent 10 kids to camp. And so that story gained momentum and was headline news all over the country, and then ended up being on the news in Europe and Australia too. Wow. And so I did, and the best part was that we were able to protect the identity of the server the whole time, because
that's amazing.
It's sometimes those things can feel predatory, and I didn't want anyone to feel like I was taking advantage of them. But so I was on the news. I did an interview in Germany and an interview in Australia. And so it was on like Newsweek. And so that was a lot very quickly. But that press I submitted to TikTok for verification, because at the same time, I was also having people making fake accounts to solicit donations. And so, and that's another thing. So press is a huge thing because they want you to be someone that someone would know off the app.
Right.
But also that I had reached out to them and I was like, listen, this is all the press. And also I am collecting money via my page for this, that's getting the press. And I want to make sure that there aren't people, and I still have people make fake accounts all the time, but the check mark helps people not give money to people.
Right.
Yeah.
Who are doing bad things. But I did submit for my own verification. So I did submit it with.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So give us like a short mini timeline of like the month or year, if you remember, of your first post, and then how we got to 730,000.
Oh God. I don't
It could be
know. Like I was invited on a podcast recently and she was like, can you explain like how this happened and like how TikTok works? And I was like,
No.
absolutely not. No, I don't have an answer for you.
because you said you had that first video. Was that your first video that got 4 million?
No, but the videos before that were like, I mean, I think they're still there. I think there's like 6 or 7 videos before that are just like my dog and my husband. Like it was like, I don't know, I was treating it like Instagram stories, right?
Yeah,
Like just random
right.
stuff. And then I just kept posting and people kept staying. And that's it.
Has it been like a you know, a
Steady, slow progression.
consistent? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I feel
Oh,
like, you know,
that's
you'll get those big viral videos that'll get you like, you know, 20, 30,000 people follow you but most of the time it's just, we're just slowly chipping away.
What's something that you want your followers and your supporters to hear from you today or take away from the show?
I hear from a lot of people that they're too scared to post something, right? And I feel like, I don't know, I was too scared, right? And it's nice, even if you have 50 followers or 5 million, it still is scary just now, right? Like it never gets less scary, but hopefully you can find some good people along the way and get some good out of it and do some good with it. So just do it, right? Like people are always like, what if no one watches it? I'm like, well, no one's watching them now, right? Like all the ones in your video also or in your drafts, like also have 0 views.
Right,
so like,
right.
what's the difference if it gets 0 views on your page or in your drafts? And who knows, like I could have not posted that video and then the whole trajectory of my world would be a little different right now. So
Yeah.
just do it.
I love it. Well, you are just as amazing as I thought you were
I
going to
know.
be. We love
Thank
you.
Thank God.
Yeah, you only have to deeply edit 1 video this month.
Yes.
It's
Gosh.
okay.
No, it was
That's so
super
fun.
fun. Meredith Steele, thanks for
This is
making
so
time
fun.
today.
So much.
You're
Ah,
welcome.
what a
Thanks for having
pleasure.
me. Yeah, that's so fun.
Hey there. Thanks so much for listening today and supporting the show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button now so you never miss an upload. We're back every Monday with new episodes available wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Also, follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Social Influence Pod for the latest updates on the show and to let us know what influencers you'd like to hear from. Head over to iTunes to rate and review The Influence, a social media podcast, and we'll see you next Monday for another peek behind the upload.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye now. This is the motherfucking new podcast.